My brothers and sisters, last week, if you remember, I spoke about unexpected things that happen in our lives. And that idea recurs again in today's second reading, with it referred to as like the coming of the Lord. These unexpected things happen in our lives. Sometimes we see them coming and we kind of expect them, but when they come, they still seem like it's unexpected, like a pregnant woman. But then there are also things that just like catch us totally off guard. You know, we're talking, peace, security, everything is good, and all of a sudden it's not. We see a lot of that in the news. We see a lot of that in the tragedies of many of the shootings, stories that we hear of. They seem to just come like out of the blue, and we're always just like struck by the unexpectedness and the shock of it all. And last week I said that in dealing with these unexpected events, we all suffer from the shock and the tragedy, but it's how we come out of those unexpected events is the way we either become more human or not. And I said that it depended upon how much oil we had in our lamps. And I would like to continue that imagery today. Instead of now thinking about the graces of God always given to us by oil, we think about them as graces of God given to us by talents or money. I unexpectedly concluded last week's homily with sort of a financial joke when I said, capital grace, what's in your lamp? So that serves as like a nice little segue into this week's homily, though totally unexpected last week on my part. So the grace of God is like the investment that God gives in each and every one of us. And as God invests God's grace, God's life in us, it's the expectation that we spend that investment, that we give it away by spending it into the world. And what we discover when we do this is the Master's joy. We find this great joy that comes to us even beyond the circumstances of our lives. Happiness is always influenced by our circumstances. If things are going our way, we're happy. If things aren't going our way, we're unhappy. The joy of the Master is always there, whether things are going our way or not. And so we share in the Master's joy by giving away the investments that God has given to us. The more we give away, the more we receive. The more we receive, the more we give away, and on we grow in the Master's joy. And we have like two extremes in today's parable. First, we have the person who is given 5 talents, lots of talent, lots of investment. And he invests it all, he spends it, he uses it, and he gets 10 more. He gets more and more, and he shares in the Master's joy. On the other side, however, we have this person who refuses to use what little that God has given to him. Rather, he buries it in the ground. He keeps it to himself and does absolutely nothing with it. And the reasons for that are a lot of the reasons that we confront in the world today. Like suspicion, like fear. He was afraid of the Master, so he didn't want to do anything. He's kind of like walking around looking for the unexpected with fear and afraid to do anything out of that fear, out of that suspicion, out of that distrust. if we harbor these kinds of feelings in our lives, which are prevalent in the world, so sometimes we kind of like catch it, we're going to experience something different. Something like what Jesus calls the wailing and grinding of teeth. He says that a lot in Matthew. He's not saying it as this is the punishment you're going to get. He says this as the result of the choices that you yourself make. You either have wailing or grinding of teeth by living totally within yourself, or you share in the Master's joy by giving away the grace that God gives you and being filled with even more grace. So how does this work on the practical, everyday level? How do we continually burn the graces, spend the graces that God invests in us? And that is with the life of a disciple, discipleship where we have a ministry to the everyday, a mystery to the quotidian mysteries of life. That is to say that we spend our graces, we burn our oil in the little things that God entrusts to us each day. The small tasks. As the Master says to all of them, you did well with small tasks, you will have now greater responsibilities. So that in the little things every day that promote life, that promote family, that promote community, if we invest our lives in those things, in the ways that we best can do, we share in the Master's joy. And the more we do these little things, more of us who do the little things, the more it influences the larger things in the world. The larger things in the world are the way they are because of the kind of foundations they are built on. So it always comes back to all of us in the way we live our daily lives. Christians are in the best position, because we have the grace of God to live with, to build the greater foundation. Christians in the ability to build the greater foundations by taking care of the small tasks that are entrusted to us by God each day, then also by building that strong foundation has a greater influence in the world at large. We are in the best position to do this. So we have a choice every single day in terms of how we invest our lives, how we invest the lives colored by and uplifted by the grace that God gives to each and every one of us. I would say it's kind of like the middle guy in the parable. We all more or less have 2 talents. Not 5, but the middle guy is not jealous of it. Satisfied with the grace that God gives to that person at that very moment. But also not fearful, not distrusting, not suspicious of everybody and everything like the one with the 1 talent. That the one with the 2 is the one that has the more room to grow by the investments that they make and to grow and share in the Master's joy. The same reward with the person with the 2 is the same outcome that one has with the person with the 5. So you see, All of our lives matter in the grace of God. God invests so much in each and every one of us. And in our joy, we return that investment. And all of our work, little as it may seem, has a profound effect on the world at large.